Good morning, traders. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of November. Let's get started. Pause your players here, read to the bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Summary for today, everything remains cash or short, depending on your perspective. I think we're in day 2 here, day 3 depending on which index you look at, but overall the models are still showing a cash or short status, and so long plays are very, very difficult from this perspective. As far as the goalpost, plus GEX is at 4100, unchanged, minus GEX is at 3600, and this too is unchanged. We are seeing some growth at the 3800 strike. Want to pay attention to that. We think this is short-term opportunistic for downside participation. You can go take a look at some of the growth of the 3800s yourself. The SPX PM complex is extremely well defined. This is the dailies that trade in that 3960 to 3965 area. The transition is very well defined. It's the same as yesterday. When we see a continuation like that, there's not much change as we're seeing in the overall structure. We do think this is a possible pinning area. There's one of many here, and you can look into the charts to see where that is. The combo complex is also extremely tight, and it incorporates part of this range, right? The 3950 to 3965. We feel this is very notable because we've had a huge compression of the transition range in the combo complex. That is the AM plus the PM settled SPX. We feel that this can break either way, and we are at the end of the month, so be prepared for that. Literally, it can go either direction. We're right at that launching pad, and we've seen it go each direction very, very easily. Remember, JPM rolls their smallest fund today. This is almost a nothing muffin. 6,800 contracts is in the noise compared to other transactions, but it is something that people track. Just be aware of that. There will be a delta component, albeit small, and there will be a shift. We are thinking right now we're going to have a short 3180, a long 3770, and a short 4170, as noted on the puts and calls. Where we are at the time of the roll will determine the final strikes, and how they handle the delta adjustment could be meaningful. They've botched it in the past as far as I'm concerned, but we'll see what happens. We do expect some end of the month window dressing, but as of the data we have this morning, which is the overnight updates, the overhead SPX combo is not supportive of a major advance and hold. We could push north up towards 4,000 or 4020, but overall we're not seeing a major advance and hold much north of that. The 0DT and 1DTs are playing a bigger role in that, and they could change the short-term structure, but we see a lot has to occur, and for the bulls it's been eroding, not improving. The cumulative tick, which is our primary market model, 3 days up. We reversed on Monday. Here's Tuesday, and you can see we're a lot shallower than we were obviously on the pull off on Monday. Still below the historical ribbon. The key takeaway is when this is horizontal, there is no long-term trend, so you need to shorten your horizons or just sit out. It's that simple. If you're trying to go long for any length in time or trying to go short for any length in time, you could get chopped up, and that's what this horizontal lines here are telling you. When we see such a short duration on the short term, if you're not literally butts in seat and taking these trades as they transition, you're going to have a very hard time on the short term. So again, if you're not a day trader, or if you don't have time to sit down and be in front of your terminal, the takeaway is cash is king, and wait until we get a definitive trend one way or the other. As I said, JPM's rolling today. We're sitting here, 6,800 contracts. These are the old strikes, and so be mindful of the new strikes and where they're going in. If we see more contracts going in today, that'll be accretive to folks wanting to participate in some upside, as well as having downside protection. If we see this number decrease, it's going to be supportive of the decrease in the skew that we've been seeing, and people just not fearful of dropping here, which could be a mistake. We always want to buy insurance when we don't need it, not when we do need it, and a drop in the contract values, which we have been seeing, I think is indicative of just a lack of fear in the markets and perhaps positioning ahead of the Christmas holiday. Key levels, no changes as I said, 4,100 to the upside, 3,600. Note the expected moves a little bit higher today. In terms of that PM settled complex, I've highlighted where the transition is here, very, very well defined. The ranges for today are way up here, way down here. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. Looking at a couple parking spots to the downside, the 4,000 strike has both a COI component that is present and fairly dominant, as well as the short-term plus GEX for the PM settled. The 0 DTE, you can see again, very small range here. This is tightened, but the deltas look terrible, right? So when we see this, there's a lot of transition points. We do think the pinning area remains within this box for today, but again, end of day window dressing can move that around. Note we are fairly balanced, but a fairly large amount is present here for the 0 DTE. 1 DTE, very small relative to what we just saw. Here's what is the 0 DTE, 788,000, 94,000. So you get the idea here that tomorrow's projection is very weak, and so don't read a lot into this. Looser, the 0 DTE and 1 DTEs certainly are being tightened by the intraday action. You can see the deltas are ugly, you can see some different pinning areas, but again, we don't put a lot of weight into the 1 DTE for tomorrow, just because it is so small and non-impactful right now. Looking at the combo, this is what I was talking about. We see a problem here of a rapid push up and hold. We need a lot of puts to be monetized. These are in the money right now, and they need to get monetized, and we need calls to go in, right? So the combination of that will push us up, and if we can turn the deltas green like we were yesterday, that would be a good thing. So if you were to go back and look at yesterday's presentation and look at today's, what you'll see is we have continued erosion of the positive deltas here. That is significant. When we lose our call deltas, that means the put deltas are becoming dominant, and that's a big deal in context of where things could head as this turns more put dominated in the overall scheme of things. We tend to move down, and as this becomes more green, and it's the change that we look at, as this becomes more green, we tend to move up. Right now, the deltas are not supportive of a rapid advance and hold, so just be aware of that. Again, the 0 DTE can push us either way. Now, one of the key things to look at here is that we are an extremely tight, extremely well-defined transition zone right here. We could either branch up very, very easily, or we could branch down very, very easily. I do want you, sorry, cut this off. I do want you to see the 3,800 here has grown, and it's grown a fairly significant amount. 3,600 is holding steady, 4,100 is holding steady. This is the 40-50 line. And so you can see where we are in kind of context and why it's easy to move up or easy to move down. So just be aware that we could break either way. Be careful depending on the side you play. Be very opportunistic, and if you can't be short term, cash is king, and wait for the dust to settle through the end of month transition. So with that, I will leave you. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for improvement, come join us in the Discord. Get there by going to GammaEdge.us, clicking on the pricing tab, filling out the blanks. Come on in, 14-day free trial, everything turned on. Great group of traders, great learning experience. Follow us on Twitter, GammaEdges with an S, and then here on YouTube. If you like today's content, please smash that like button. Let me know. It gives me immediate feedback that I'm on the right track and providing what you want. And then, of course, subscribe, because Taylor and I post videos, try to do 2 a day when we can. So with that, make it a great hump day, and hope to see you in the Discord. Thanks, everyone.